We've all been there, right? After something painful, maybe a breakup, a friendship that just ends, or a tough time at work, and we find ourselves stuck, just waiting for that one thing we think we need to move on. Closure. But what if waiting for someone else to give you that closure is the actual trap?
Just really picture this for a second. Imagine someone burned your house down, and you're just sitting there, in the ashes, waiting for them to come back with a bucket of water. I mean, it sounds crazy, right? It's completely absurd. But that's exactly what we're doing when we wait for an apology from the person who hurt us. We're hoping the arsonist will be our firefighter. And let's be real, that's just not going to happen.
And that right there, that's what we call the closure trap. It's this vicious cycle that can keep us totally stuck. We're talking months, sometimes even years, just feeling powerless.
You know, what we're really doing is we're holding our own healing hostage. Every time you think, I just can't move on until they say they're sorry, you're literally handing over all the power, the keys to your own happiness, to someone else. You're putting your entire emotional recovery on hold, waiting for a green light from the very person who's already proven they don't have your best interests at heart.
So let's get real for a minute. What are you waiting for? Like, what is it specifically? Is it the magic words, I'm sorry? Is it some long-winded explanation that finally makes it all make sense? Or is it just for them to look you in the eye and admit they hurt you? Figuring out exactly what you're waiting for is so important because it's the first step to realizing, you know what? You might have to be the one to give that to yourself.
Okay, so this next part is a bit of a tough pill to swallow, but it's so important. We have to face the fact that apology, it probably isn't coming.
Look at this. On one side, you have everything you're hoping for, a real apology, an actual explanation, just some kind of acknowledgement. But then, look at the reality. What do we usually get? More disrespect, or worse, just silence. Crickets. Total disregard. And that gap, right there, between our hope and their reality, that's the quicksand that keeps us stuck, replaying everything in our heads on a loop.
And that's why this whole waiting game is such a trap. It feels like you're on the path to healing, but you're not. You're actually just stuck in a loop, ripping the wound open again and again. You're hoping they'll hand you a Band-Aid, but all you're really doing is letting it bleed.
Okay, but here's the good news. This is where we flip the script. This is where you take your power back. Because if closure isn't coming from them, where does it come from? Well, it comes from you. Let's talk about this amazing, powerful idea called self-closure.
So, what is it? It's the sovereign act of giving yourself permission to move on. And I love that word, sovereign. It means you are the boss. You are the ruler of your own life, your own healing. It's you deciding for yourself that you don't need anything from anyone else to move forward. You give yourself the permission slip.
So, how do we actually do this? It's simpler than you might think. It really comes down to 3 steps. Number 1, you decide. You make the choice that their silence, their disrespect, that's the closure. That's the only answer you're ever going to get. Number 2, you walk away. I mean it. Stop checking their social media. Stop asking mutual friends about them. Walk away with your head held high. And number 3, my favorite one, you write your own ending. Think about it. Your life is a book, right? And this person, yeah, they were a character in a chapter, maybe even a main character for a while. But they do not get to write the ending of that chapter. You do. You don't need to wait for their final lines of dialogue to finish it. You're holding the pen, and you can just write the end on their part of the story.
All right, let's bring this all home. It's time to talk about what it really means to write your own ending.
So, what do we take away from all this? Let's recap. First, and this is huge, your healing is your responsibility. It's in your hands. Second, their bad behavior or their silence, that's not a question mark, that's a period. It's the only answer you need. Third, remember, you always have the power to close the door. And last but not least, your story is not over. Not by a long shot. Just this one chapter is.
And really, that's the whole point, isn't it? When you finally decide to stop waiting, you're left with this amazing gift. A blank page. A fresh start. So the only question left is, now that you've closed their chapter, what are you going to write in yours?